Welcome back to Nerd Central. I'm your host, Krysta. Well, that is if someone gives me what I was promised.
Here's your nickel.
Thank you. Very well, I shall continue working for this beloved show. Now, without further ado, let us kick it to les news. We finally have a trailer for The Suicide Squad. I know what you're thinking. Suicide Squad already came out. No. This is The Suicide Squad. Obviously a completely different thing and makes way more sense than just titling it Suicide Squad 2, right? Well, anyway, looks like it's going to be very funny, very rated R, and Starro is the villain. Well, they're all villains. I mean, the villain that all the villains fight. Okay, confusing to report on this. So, does anyone else remember what a big hit Hamilton was when it came to Disney+? Man, the guy who made that musical was really talented. And you know what? Warner Brothers thinks so too. Wow, what a concept. WB recognizing talent instead of squandering it to ashes for once? Nearly 2 years after the first trailer dropped, we have a release date for In the Heights. The off-Broadway musical is set to premiere on the big screen along with HBO Max on June 18th, 2021. And now for Emma book news. On March 30th, Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo will be released. This is the sequel and the finale of the King of Scars duology and the final installment of the Grishaverse. Although, I'm sure it will be very hard to say goodbye to Ravka on the page, all the normal people will be saying hello when Shadow and Bone drops on Netflix April 23rd. Now for something that likely has nothing to do with books, it's Paige and Kyle. Take it away, guys.
Hello and welcome back to B-Rated, the show that guides you along the walk of lame in our quest to watch the best of the worst. As usual, I'm your host Paige, and I have a bit of a confession to make. Let me start out by saying that this story takes place 13 years ago, and let the record show that I have matured since then. Now, Cody, I am really sorry, but when I was a kid, I really liked the Batman and Robin movie. I'm so sorry, I didn't know any better. I really liked the Justice League cartoon, and I had never seen a live-action Batman movie before. So when I found the Batman and Robin VHS in a box of old movies, I watched it, and I didn't hate it because it was the first time I ever saw Batman in live action. Please forgive me, I'm sorry. Okay, and now before Cody can kick me out of Nerd Central, let's connect a few dots. This week's subject of unnecessary ridicule is Foursquare Productions' Return of the Killer Tomatoes. Now, before you get on to me about watching a sequel before the original, I don't care. They're back, and this time they're really stewed. It's been 25 years since the Great Tomato War, and tomatoes are still banned throughout the country. But a terrible plot is being hatched. Evil Professor Gangrene is hard at work in his laboratory. Will the lecherous? How do I pronounce that? Hang on.
Lecherous.
Okay, lecherous. Where was I? Okay. Will the lecherous professor succeed with his bizarre plan? Can the superhuman vegetables in disguise fool the trained eye? You guys have no idea how long I've waited to watch this movie. Viewers on Amazon Prime gave this movie a 4.6 out of 5 stars, and I wholeheartedly believe that it deserves the full 5 stars. Now, before I begin my spiel, wait a minute, is that an actual word? How do I spell that? S-P-I-E-L? That doesn't sound right. It's pronounced spiel. Shouldn't it be have an S-C-H in there somewhere? Someone needs to fix that. Dear dictionary, please change the spelling of spiel because what you have is wrong. Anyway, you're probably wondering why I brought up Batman in the beginning of this segment. Well, it's because the legendary George Clooney is responsible for the portrayal of both Batman and the lovable best friend Matthew in Return of the Killer Tomatoes. Just thought I'd put that out there. But even if George Clooney wasn't in this movie, I would still love it. Return of the Killer Tomatoes was so much fun to watch. It was the perfect combination of weird science, airplane, and Mystery Science Theater 3000, and I love it. There were so many fourth wall breaks and tropes that really added to the movie as a whole. You know what, let's just watch a few clips. I think you'll get what I mean.
Well, what tomato has red fur and any legs at all?
Cut it. Save the film, strike the broads, kill the babies. My friends, I'm sorry, but looks like we are out of money for this picture.
That's right, Chad, not to mention great gas mileage. And did you know that...
Do we have enough money to finish this turkey yet?
Yeah, sure. Give them hell, guys.
You have 10 seconds. I said I don't know the...
You notice how everything we set up in the first reel pays off in the last? Pretty swift, huh?
Not everything.
Overall, this movie is definitely worth watching. The charm of the 80s paired with the classic tropes and self-awareness really made this movie something special. So when should you watch this movie? Throw a whole movie night, invite your friends, make pizzas without tomatoes like they do in the movie. Just go all out and have fun with it. And now it's time to spin the wheel of stupid cinema. Tune in next week when we watch Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back to Sideburns. I'm Kyle, and join me as we take a stroll through movies I unnecessarily pick apart because, well, I'm bored. I guess. Since Cody is still riding the wave that the Snyder Cut is the greatest thing since sliced bread, I find it fitting that I only go after the DC universe in this episode. Starting off with... Batman v Superman. Also known as the worst movie that my optical receptors have ever had the displeasure of sensing. Because the movie could have ended after 30 seconds, but they had to waste my time with believing Batman could actually stand a chance against the literal human adaptation of sliced bread. So who would win in the fight? An orphan with magical Jesus powers, or an orphan who never left his emo phase? Here's a hint, it's the orphan with magical Jesus powers. Like I said, this could have ended after 30 seconds, if Superman had just used his spicy vision to melt Batman into a pile of ash and sad feelings. Look how easy this would have been. Quick, easy, fade to black, roll credits. That's how you could have done this movie. Also, what is with this romantic tension in this movie? I swear, the majority of the clips I see with these two involve them staring at each other, like, just kiss already and get off of my screen. Cody can probably do this, but please explain to me the reason this movie exists aside from being the biggest cash grab since Bethesda re-released Skyrim. And since Superman is my favorite DC hero, I'll cut him some slack. He was my idol after all. What a man. Such a dreamboat. But Batman, sweet Jesus, the caped crusader just had to be more edgy when facing a man afraid of green rocks. You cannot tell me this man doesn't look like a total goober with his trash wannabe Iron Man suit. At least Iron Man had full coverage. You left your mouth exposed. Why? There is no reason you need protection from a man with glorified microwaves for eyes. No one cares enough to see the teeth your parents had to pour thousands of dollars into because you were born like a walrus. Christ! Speaking of your mouth, why is your voice still modulated when you don't have your mouth covered?
Well, here I am.
You basically saw the Iron Man suit and went, I wonder how I can totally rip this dude off. But make the armor more muscular so more intimidating. Yeah, that's a great idea. The Snyder Cut. God, I wish the Snyder Cut would have cut my eyes out so I didn't have to see this travesty. I need a break. I feel I'm gonna burst a vein. But let's go ahead and consult the new dartboard of anger and see what the next movie is. And it looks like we're going after the movie Avatar. No, not the blue people. The short dude with the blue arrow on his forehead. Yeah, that guy. Oh. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this. I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys. We're going to take a quick break so that I can beat more of these nickels out of Cody. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Nerd Central, where you get what you paid for. In this instance, you have purchased more packs. Take it away, guys.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Review Girl. I'm your loyal host, Uhuman April Mortal. And as promised, on today's episode I'll be reviewing Jane and Raphael from Jane the Virgin. Where do I start? This couple meets for the first time when Jane is working at a yacht club restaurant, where she lets Raphael in after closing hours. Jane is a middle-class teenager who lives with her mom and grandmother, while Raphael is the son of a rich businessman who obviously has no problem getting whatever he wants. Now, if you haven't seen Jane the Virgin, I must warn you that the plot twists are never what you expect, because years after they meet and have lost contact with each other, Jane is accidentally artificially inseminated by a doctor who turns out to be Raphael's sister. And that's not all. The liquids belonged to Raphael. Can you imagine how awkward it would be to get pregnant not just as a virgin, but by your teenage crush as well, who you haven't seen in years, and at the same time happen to be engaged to a police officer? No cap, I felt so bad for Michael because it really isn't easy to deal with this sort of situation. But after a long merry-go-round of whether Jane should keep the child or not, she settled for the option of being a mom. Jane gives birth to Matteo, whose life was literally in danger most of the time. But that's a story for another show. I can't begin to describe how many times Raphael and Jane got together and split up. But just to give you a feel of it, even when Michael winds up dead, their relationship is halted when he comes back to life. However, the most important thing to note about this couple is that Raphael was willing to give up his wealthy lifestyle to be with Jane and their son, Matteo. And even though their relationship starts in a very uncomfortable position, they resolve it by deciding to love each other. As for Michael, well, he loses his memory at one point but ends up happy with a newfound love of his own. Jane and Raphael tied knots in the final episode, and it really is a beautiful moment to watch. So many things happen on this show, and if you haven't seen it yet, please do. That's it for today, folks. Tune in again next week when I review Elijah and Haley from the originals.
I'm not trying to make you feel guilty. I'm just scared.
Yeah. Okay, and maybe it'll take time for you to trust this. But I want you to know that I want to marry you and spend my life with you. Because I chose you, Raphael, and I will keep choosing you every single day for the rest of our lives. I'm serious. If you ever try to leave me, I'm going with you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Drew, and welcome to Trash Flicks. This week, I'll be looking at the 2019 comedy, Sextuplets. In this movie, Alan goes on a journey to find his brother and sisters that he didn't know he had until recently, and gets in a bunch of crazy situations along the way. I have to say, right off the bat, I did not like anything about the movie. The closest I got to liking anything about it was that I didn't dislike the characters too much. They were just mediocre. In fact, that is most of this movie. My main issue with this movie is that I didn't find it too funny. In fact, a lot of times, I found myself cringing at the jokes and having to look away from the screen because something was giving me severe secondhand embarrassment. The jokes were either just bad or plain gross. In fact, not one of the jokes in this movie made me genuinely laugh. The closest they got was a nose exhale. But what did make me laugh was the makeup and the costumes. This movie's costumes and makeup are not very good. The whole gimmick of this movie is that the main character as well as the siblings are all played by the same actor. So they need a heavy amount of makeup and costume. They also need to make him wear a fat suit for a couple of the characters, and it's not very good. It ends up looking like he shoved pillows under his shirt. It just comes off wrong. And there are also a few points where he gets injured, and it looks like they put red paint on his face. It's all just not good, and it was my main point of enjoyment, actually, for the movie. It was quite entertaining to see. Lastly, the movie feels really long. It must be the pacing, because I was constantly looking to see how much time was left. It just kept going. The combination of the boring and unfunny humor and the equally boring plot made it just a slog. I also realized that the plot is very similar to The Ridiculous Six, which is not exactly a good thing given that I hated that movie. I honestly found it really hard to even be mad at this movie. Just really disappointed, I guess. At the end of the day, this movie was just an unfunny mess that suffered from bad pacing, an unoriginal plot, and really terrible costumes and makeup. This is Drew, and thanks for watching Trash Flicks.
What is up, you guys? I'm your host, Emma, and I have another super episode of Nerd Games planned for you. This week, my guest and I will be playing Marvel Pictionary. We have a special guest artist who will be drawing something related to the MCU, and my guest and I will race to see who can guess it first. For this game, I had to invite Marvel expert herself, Kaylin!
Hey, you guys!
And special artist, Paige!
Hey, it's me, again. This one is a character.
A character.
That does not speak.
That doesn't speak? One of the ants from Ant-Man.
Oh, freaking, yeah. Goose. I was like, what's the cat's name? We'll see where this goes and see if you need any hints.
All right.
Ant-Man.
We're just determined to shoehorn him into this episode.
Yeah. Thanos. Eggman.
Eggman?
Dr. Robotnik.
Eggman.
Dr. Robotnik. Cody will like that one. Iron Man.
One of the
Iron Man.
Infinity Stones, the Power Stone, the Reality Stone, the Time Stone, a stone.
Oh, Ultron. Ultron.
Oh.
Yeah, because of the little. I got it from like the sides of his face. Like.
All right.
I was like, how is this not Ant-Man?
Fair enough.
Okay, this is the hardest one. Oh, go for it. It's a phrase.
All right, a phrase.
I love you 3000. Sorry, that's the only phrase I can think of.
I'm gonna result to stick figures this time.
Oh my gosh. We know what happened with Cord.
I am burdened by glorious purpose.
Imagine. Imagine.
If you cared, you'd actually be here. Oh. I don't want to go. I'm sorry.
Look at that balloon head.
Oh, 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 oh. Why is Gamora?
Why is Gamora? Oh my god. I didn't even see that, dude.
And the winner of the Marvel Pictionary was me. Unfortunately, that means Kaylin's gonna get dusted. Now we're going. All right, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Did you want to tilt your head?
Yeah, I'm gonna tilt my head. I'm so scared. Oh my god, this is weird. Thanos got me. Oh my god. I feel like I should be in a music video with all this.
All right, and that's it for this week's episode of Nerd Games. Tune in next week for another great episode. Thanks, everyone. Oh, crap. This week is The Flash. I don't want to run. Oh, Cody, we need to renegotiate. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Justice League Games! Emma's team finally has a point, leaving it at a 3-1 intense battle between Emma as the next producer and Kyle as the next producer. But Kyle is still winning at the moment as we head into this week, which is The Flash. Flash, of course, is known for his insane amount of speed. So, let's figure out who's competing. Welcome back. Kyle, recovering from mannequin syndrome.
Let me tell you, man, stiffy mode is not fun when you're stuck like it for a weekend. Black.
Yes, and how are you, Emma, after your win?
You know, standing.
Cool. So, who have you selected for the Flash Challenge?
We selected Kyle.
And believe it or not, we selected Emma.
Well, look at that. it's the matchup everybody's been waiting for. Kyle and Emma, the whole reason this thing's put together. Now let's tell you what the challenge is. For the Flash, he is speedy, but his other well-known attribute is how well he can throw back a snappy comeback. So, we're gonna have 2 rounds where one of you is going to run in place while the other fires off insults. You will have 10 seconds between each insult to come up with a great comeback.
Well, I'm intimidated to say the least. He kind of does insults for a living, so we'll see how this goes. My insults are pretty weak. I would rate them at a level of like kindergarten, and Kyle's at least middle school because those are scathing. And I'm not sure how this is gonna play out for me. I'm not thinking very well.
Kyle will be insulting first, Emma will be running first. And begin in 3, 2, 1.
Your acne resembles a burnt spaghetti strainer.
You looked in the mirror?
Yeah, I did, because I didn't have pigtails today.
You could have pigtails and they would still look like trash.
I can't actually have pigtails, but I can grow a nice man bun and it would still look better than your hairstyle any day of the week.
Yeah? I don't think so, because I have long, flowy, beautiful, luscious locks. Yours are weak, greasy.
Nah, mine are nice and luscious, but I also don't use chocolate syrup as a conditioner.
That was one time. You probably use dirt as conditioner. Do you even take a shower? I don't know.
That's a good question. Actually, I don't take a shower. I
Why
roll
am I
around
not
in a mud
surprised?
pit.
My parents love me more than your parents loved you.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure my parents didn't lock me in a closet with books when no contact with the outside world.
No, my mom read to me because she actually spent quality time with me.
Yeah, and my mom listened to AC/DC and death metal when I was in the womb, so there you go.
I don't think that's the same as quality time in the womb and out of the womb.
Yeah,
But
out of the womb too. That's why I got my love for Motley Crue.
my dad listened to 80s rock music with me. That's where I got that.
You have a dad?
Yeah.
Well, this is news. Whose turn is it?
And that's time. All right, that was a good round. It lasted a very long time, Emma. I'm impressed.
Thank you. And I don't know why I keep ending up in challenges that are way too aggressive. I'm not a fan. This is hurting me inside, and it will probably come up in therapy.
We're beginning in 3, 2, 1.
I know how to use a green screen every week.
Do you though? Because I've seen it. You've got a hell of spillage on your head. Like, you know the week that you lost with the slime?
Yeah. You, in your green screen, it was just red curtains. How is that an interesting background? At least mine has some depth.
How is a bookshelf any deeper than that? It's just a 2-dimensional field.
Yeah, but at least it was interesting. Yours was just
No, it
a
wasn't.
curtain. You might as well just use the curtains.
Yeah, but they're not red.
We could have
Not
made
to
them
mention,
red.
not to mention, nobody wants to look at books.
Nobody wants to look at your face.
That's fine. That's why I wear a mask.
Yeah, but you still do your pack every week without one.
Yeah, not anymore. I'm off screen.
Yeah, that's a new change though, because you realize people don't want to see your face.
I don't want to see my face. Surprised you haven't changed
That's
your
a
format.
self-insult.
I'm surprised you haven't changed your format. Surprised anybody could look at you without crying.
That's
Some
why I have
cutting
guests every
onion.
week to divert attention.
What?
Old words for you to say.
I know I'm bad. The only issue is I can actually accept it. You can't accept when you suck.
Oh, we're 8-miling her.
I can accept when I suck, and I do
Really?
often.
How can you be that narcissistic about your packs then?
I know my packs need work, but unlike you, I actually take the feedback and use it.
Cody and I talked.
Instead of changing my entire show because I realize it's bad.
Yeah, because Cody and I talked about it. Made it better. Well, yeah, what do you have? Pepper? That's about as spicy as you can get.
I'll take that. I'm. Pepper's pretty spicy.
It's not
Can be.
spicy.
Can be. Who's that for? Bro, who's that for?
Me trying to end it. All right, so that's time. Wow.
Oh, my calves
that
are on
was
fire.
That was very
Yeah,
long.
nice job.
Yes, that was some good content that I'm gonna have to heavily censor.
That got really aggressive. Like, that got out of hand. Got really out of hand. But it is what it is. You do what you gotta do to get the dub. Let's go.
And with that, Kyle is the winner of the Flash Challenge with another point for Kyle's team.
So, since I'm going to be competing in the Wonder Woman challenge, I feel pretty good about myself. I won the Cyborg challenge, so that feels really, really good. I'm really excited. I don't know what it's going to be. If it's going to be a physical challenge, I think I got this. But mental challenge, we'll see.
Things were said, feelings were hurt, and we went fast. What more could you want from the Flash? And what more could you want from the Justice League Games? Come back next week on Nerd Central, only on KNWT, Channel 8.